it steers the direction, not necessarily for the good.
You know, there's pressure on you to do well.
There was a sort of literally a divide between the children that got their 11 plus result and those that didn't.
There was 100 questions and I only managed to get to question 87.
I think it made such a difference to my confidence and everything else that happened.
The language was you passed.
Oh, you failed.
It failed. You failed your 11 plus.
Yeah.
Passing the 11 plus, it gave me the ability to believe in myself.
By 1944, it was clear that the Allies were going to win the war, and the coalition government began to make plans for the post-war reconstruction of the country. All parties were agreed on the way forward for education, which was to create a universal system of secondary education, and this would have 3 layers. Top 20% of pupils were to go to grammar schools to pursue an academic education. The next 10% would go to technical schools, and the rest would go to secondary modern schools. So almost immediately the system came into effect. It became subject to calls for reform.
Do you think the result of your 11 plus entrance examination has had an impact on your future choices and career?
Yes, I really do. I think that it steers the direction, not necessarily for the good. I think people mature at different ages, so I don't feel that the 11 plus should be the final decider on your future of where you go or what you do in life.
I remember doing the 11 plus. So I remember coming out and my friend thinking she'd smashed it, and I thought I've really done really badly.
There was 100 questions and I only managed to get to question 87. I still remember that now, and that was a very, very long time ago.
I remember my parents and my teachers having a lot of expectations, and you know, there's pressure on you to do well. I missed out on going to grammar school by, I don't know, something like 15 maybe, around 15 marks or something like that. And at first I was disappointed. You know, I felt like I'd let myself down, and I was disappointed that I wasn't going to go to this school that everyone seemed to be trying to get into. But I don't regret coming here at all. It has given me so many life skills, and it's just been one of the best things in the world.
I'm not sure whether it actually had an impact on my future choice of careers, but I know when we got our results, it actually had quite an impact on us as children within the school. Apparently there was a sort of literally a divide between the children that got their 11 plus result and those that didn't, and we literally divided our friendships accordingly.
I remember the day the results came through, and I burst into tears because my dad actually told me that I'd passed the 11 plus. I didn't get to go to any of the schools of my choice. Bexley Heath School was just turning into a comprehensive school at the time, so they'd taken a certain number of children to start their upper stream classes.
I went to an all-girls school, non-selective. We were basically given the bare minimum, taught to be sort of homemakers, and I don't think it really did any favours for me at all. If anything, probably held me back.
I scraped past on my 11 plus, and then it was quite a struggle. Grammar school, I didn't come easily to me, and I think I probably would have potentially thrived more in another school.
I definitely think it had an impact because, as I said, I'm not one of the cleverest, so I really don't know how I did pass. And I thought in the first year, this is great, I'm at a grammar school, I must be clever, until we did the exams and I had to work a lot harder. And seeing all your friends being able to do it a lot easier than I could was quite tough. So I think as time went on, I kind of just went with the flow and just stayed in the bottom sets and did what I had to do rather than maybe try a bit harder because of a lack of confidence.
I remember my early years, it did have an impact because my brother had passed and I didn't pass.
Passing the 11 plus at that age, talking 10, 11 years old then, it gave me the ability to believe in myself. As I got older and probably continuing now, you know, it's instilled the self-belief in me that I am able to achieve.
It sent me on the way to the grammar school, and it set me on the way to learning foreign languages, which I, in later life, used a lot, French and German and Spanish. They were my great loves, so yes, certainly.
I probably had more choices in terms of the courses and things that I did there, and maybe it had an impact on post-school CV, as in trying to get a job and saying I went to a grammar school.
I absolutely believe the 11 plus had a profound impact on my education. From the time I passed the 11 plus, I was just always trying to do my best in every test. And maybe I stressed out a lot more than I really needed to. Even though I saw myself as a perfectionist, I did always strive to do something purposeful. Like, I really wanted to work hard so I could get a job where I cared about what I was doing. I think that love of learning that school embedded in me, ingrained in me, has absolutely drawn a straight line to the university I went to and the job that I do now.
It's interesting because what I went on to do, you didn't necessarily have to go to university to do. So being a filmmaker and an actor, you don't need to go to uni for that. But I loved this school, and I think it made such a difference to my confidence and everything else that happened. So it definitely had an impact, but would it made a difference if there was no 11 plus and we still went here somehow? This wasn't a grammar school, this was just a school that we met at. I don't know, it's hard to say.
If I hadn't have come here, then I wouldn't have had the incredible teachers that I had, and possibly had the creative freedom to do all of the drama and the media and the filmmaking that I had.
I can remember wanting to be a land surveyor, and the reaction I got from the teachers was, "Oh, you need A levels for that," as if they were completely impossible to achieve.
I think it probably put more fire in my stomach to battle against what was assumed of people that didn't pass their 11 plus. So it made me go, oh right, okay then.
Having an 11 plus then overtly put me off going straight into university and doing further education.
My two sons, my youngest son passed the 11 plus. My oldest son never took it because he was dyslexic at the time, but they both ended up with master's degrees from top flight universities. So I don't think it's the selective part that made the difference there. They made their own choices about education.
The system did shape us, but not in the way it intended to.
Yeah, so I did what grammar school should have done.
And I did not. And I can say a lot of our friends who came here and we're close to from primary, who ended up at the non-selective school, are successful irrespective in their own fields, whatever they've done.
Looking back as an adult, I think maybe too much pressure shouldn't be put on the 11 plus. Maybe it shouldn't exist at all. Wherever you end up going, it seems like there's opportunities and extracurricular clubs to find something that you enjoy or something that you can take into the future. I think that's the most important thing I got from school, that drive to find something I really liked and focus on that.
I think personally it's a shame that your future is judged by an exam that you take when you're 11, and I think that if you do pass the 11 plus, then all good and well. If you don't take it as a bad thing. Just trust your own character and just trust your own future, and you'll be okay.
Very good advice.